manager did economically, but we know what Awaken's done in terms of operations management, treating the people right. And Awakened is only a part of the building too. There are other aspects of the building that we have nothing to do with. That's not our job. That's up to the village.
So we do not want to have another meeting. You're okay with another handshake tonight about another 30 to 60 days, or do you want a contract agreement before December 1st? I mean, I don't, because if you want something before December 1st, we have to have a board meeting. We would need the contracts, and our attorneys, it'll have to, or you will get another handshake deal. It's not a lot of time.
It shouldn't be a handshake. I mean,
So
I would think that, as Mr. Urban said, we have to decide how we're going to move forward and whether or not it's acceptable terms. You know, I don't know if everybody has read the documents, but it is just really inappropriate. And I don't think anybody here would agree to do what we have done. I mean, we have shown good faith. I'm working without a paycheck at all. I'm not getting paid for this. And I'm functioning as the administrator and the director of nursing. Bakari is the manager of the facility. He's making $25,000 less than your last person.
I'm sorry.
So all I'm saying is, let's be fair. Suppose you come back tomorrow. Suppose you come back tomorrow and say, or next week, and say, we decided we don't want it. I don't even have time to take care of the legal things that I need to take care of. We need something in writing immediately, just like we've done in the past. You immediately gave us something in writing before.
I understand the concern. We've been talking about this for longer than an hour now. I understand the concern from you. I just wanted to know. I just wanted to let you know we literally have two options.
Okay, I got it.
And that's what I'm telling you. Just kind of trying to close the end of this. I understand the concern. 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. Telling you tonight. Only thing you're going to get is another handshake. We cannot do any type of action. We can't do board action tonight at all. We can't say, yes, agreement for 90 days. We cannot do anything like that tonight at all.
Well, you there? But what she just asked was about the dollars. She wanted to know would it be an increase, right?
No, that's not what we're asking. Right now, all we're asking for is...
No, let's go back to what the attorney initially said.
How about
The
this?
attorney initially said they were willing to retract the letter.
Yes.
And they wanted to go forward. He said 30, 45 days, or etc. Now, I would suggest that we start from this point. The letter is thrown out. We have to get through these holidays with these residents. And there needs to be something in place other than a handshake agreement, even if we continue an agreement that was there.
This is what he's suggesting.
Right. That would suffice. So we can move forward. It will go in front of the board. They make a decision what they want to do. There's been a lot of indecisiveness.
Yeah.
So all I'm saying is that in 13 days, there has to be a management company in place. And anyone that comes in there needs to make an assessment.
We hereby request for your consideration 2 items. Number 1, that the letter will be retracted. Termination letter will be retracted, 1. And 2, that board grants us a 60-day contract extension at the same discounted rate because of our good faith, same current rate that's going on now, during which time we'll try to negotiate a new contract.
And if the new contract is not negotiated, the board needs to make up their mind what they want to do. Whether they want to keep you there, whether they want to put another management company in place, continue the losses at $1 million a year, or sell to Dorchester. I mean, you have to make a decision. You can't keep going back and forth. We've been dealing with this since June of last year.
I agree with you on that.
And we're still at the same point, and $1 million more in the hole. So,
If I agree with you with that, because just going back and forth, but I honestly think it needs to be about 90 days. So once we get to a point where we're a month and a half in, and we see that this is just not going in the direction.
Flies all over the place. never degrades, so they require it to be in the paper bags. And we pick that up through the end of November. So through the end of next week, we'll be picking those up.
Okay.
Now, there was, we had a kind of like an Indian summer, and we did make agreement with you to extend it at 1 year.
Yes,
Yeah, past December 1st.
yes.
So a lot of times weather plays a part in regards to how people rate, or if they rate.
Yeah.
And like this weekend, it's supposed to be 45 degrees. We may get some people, residents come out and do some raking.
I didn't see any raking on my way over here tonight, though.
No, not this type of weather. But depending on the weather, what did that cost us to extend the program that year? Or what's their cost?
We didn't charge you any extra
Okay.
to do that.
Thank you. All right.
I will, and Matt, maybe you can address that. The municipalities that have bought the lead suckers are very sorry they ever did that. It's very labor
It's not a
intensive.
purchase. We used to lease it.
That's why we got rid of them. We had 2 of our own that we purchased. That's why they got rid of them, because it started to get rough. There's a lot, you gotta hire 4 guys if you're gonna do it.
Yeah.
And if cars are parked in front of those leaves,
Yep.
you cannot
We
pay
were
for
going
them.
around and people were calling back complaining we weren't out there, but little do they know that the cars were parked. And it takes time to bring a truck with a big old trailer back around the block to clean it all up.
Okay. So you basically no fan of the vacuum?
I'm not a fan of it, no.
Okay.
Most municipalities are not.
No.
So
Okay.
we get a chance to get a little, some more of that good Indian weather. You guys want to pick up extra for us free?
Well, I think this year the leaves are down. So we're not going to run our yard waste trucks after next week. Usually if the leaves are falling late, it stays warm later, we'll run the trucks a couple extra weeks. One of the things we run into is the compost site where we bring those does not go to a landfill. The compost site we bring it to, they close down.
Okay.
Because they're not getting material anymore. So we would have nowhere to go with them at that point. So everything depends on the weather, like the mayor said.
Thank you.
Okay.
Any input from the board?
When does that, sir, what's his name, Tom? You said a lot has to do with the compost site.
Yes.
When do you know for sure, like this year, when they're gonna close? What's the deadline? When do we have to seal?
Well, our understanding is always the end of November, they're going to close. So if it stays warm longer, we will go to them and make a request to see if we can get them to stay open longer, if they're going to get enough material.
Okay.
So that's what we've done in the past.
Well, I liked the service when we had it.
Me too.
My only concern now is there's so many cars on the street. Back when they used to do it, when I first moved to Dolton, which was 30 years ago, there was no cars on the street. They were all in driveways and garages. And now I think it would be really hard. We'd have to have a program to have people not park on the street if their truck would go down the street. Otherwise, they would never be able to get to the curb.
I totally agree. That's why I bought it.
But I like the service
That's a
because
hefty ticket.
I plowed I just wait my leaves to the curb and I didn't have to bag it. And I would get on my car.
It made you come out and actually do the work because someone's picking it up. So if you guys would like, we can initiate this for next year. I just put it up for discussion because it's the only time we always will. All of us are together. So hopefully we can have this program for next year. All right, moving on. Next one I hit on my list was fixed resident sidewalks. When I was out canvassing or whatever, a lot of people complained about broken concrete, which is on the pathway that the kids walk to school. It's not the pathway to someone's home, which they're responsible for. That is responsible for by the village, which I think we should initiate some type of program to fix the sidewalks. So I don't know if anybody got any suggestions or how you think we should do going forward. I know I talked to Matt Stacy about it, and he told me in the past they had a 50-50 program. Would you like to explain that, Matt?
I have no, I know there was a 50-50 program, but I have no knowledge of how it works. That's why I spoke to the village clerk about it from in the past, and she wasn't too clear on it too. So that's up to you guys how you want to work that out.
The towns that I've been,
part of, Mayor, I'm sorry for one thing, there are 50/50 programs, they're pretty generic. They are held, rather than today someone calling Mr. Stacy and saying, fix this patch, a week later fix this patch, a week later fix this patch. The residents are notified that there is what is called a 50/50 program. What that means is the village is willing to pay 50% of the cost, the resident pays 50% of the cost. Residents turn in their information. Mr. Stacy has his department then go out and evaluate and mark off those squares. That's what they're called, they're squares. Then a request for bid is put out at large to all the concrete people. And rather than having one pour, two pour, three pour, you may pour 150 squares on a given week. So the price of the concrete, the price of the labor, everything is down. There, as I mentioned to Ms. Henyard, and I think I put it in the synopsis sheet, there was nothing budgeted for this year. There is no way that any town, no matter what their financial situation, can fix every square in a town in 1 year. So for example, an average town of this size would normally put away $35,000 to $50,000. That means the residents would put aside $35,000 to $50,000. They would call us, they would have to pay half, we pay half, and that's how the program works. But it's done in the spring, it's not done year-round.
One thing that we did do this year, and Trustee Brown can attest to this, was the fact that during my travels through the village, I identified some very serious hazardous sidewalks at Garrett over by you on Shepherd, where the house was burned down. We did over by the rehab place, Trustee Brown, if you remember that.
Yeah.
And we did probably this year about 17 to 18 replacement of squares where they were actually raised. In some cases, some of them were raised 5, 7, 8 inches, which made it difficult to get across. But those were the extreme cases that we replaced. And like Mr. Urban said, we did not budget for that. But if you have someone that falls and trips over those things, it costs a lot more money than we probably budget to fix them. So next year, that's one of the things I want to do is put in the budget, and we go around and identify those extreme places that need to be taken care of. A number of those hazards were created by the trees that we have. We have some trees that's over 100 years old, 120 years old, and as they've grown and expanded, they've raised the sidewalks and curbs and broken streets and tore up sewer lines and things like that. So those are some of the things that we had to, and not only that, we've taken out a lot of those trees that actually have destroyed the sidewalks. So we replace those sidewalks so they can be travel safer. Okay, Trustee Henry, yes, the next thing.
Okay, anybody else want to have any input on that? Are there any grant dollars that can be found for any kind of improvement projects like this?
For the infrastructure.
Because I mean, you're good at
Typically, the administration works with their senator or either their state rep. Some of the other municipalities I represent, typically they get about $50,000 to $100,000 each year just from that state rep to do a sidewalk project. So typically every year there's money to do one. Or you can obligate some of your MFT funds. That's an eligible expense. I think the village receives about over $600,000 a year. But I know a lot of that is obligated towards maintenance. Maintenance meaning your hot patch and your cold patching and also your salt purchasing and also other equipment items. So we want to try to look at, what are those items that you're using for your municipal expenses. You can carve out a small portion of that and try to do a sidewalk project each year so you can try to put a dent in some of these locations where they're actually a liability and hazard to the residents.
The money that you say is available through your senator, can we get that now? Or did we ever clear up all the paperwork that was holding us up from?
Administrator Urban and Tanjanita and I just discussed that. So there's some documents that we're going to get together and submit to DCO to get that done. But again, like others have said, this is something that we would put together for the spring. Right now, concrete, it's pretty expensive right now, and it's very short. There's not a lot of concrete that's out there. Contractors are waiting, but it costs a lot more to pour concrete in the wintertime, so it's a lot more to protect it too. So, but it's something we'll definitely look for and plan to do, I would say, first of spring. I'll work with Mr. Stacy on that. Right, Mr. Stacy?
Thank you. The last item that I asked to be placed on the agenda is a way to generate income. I know that a lot of residents ask for their trees to be cut down or trimmed, and sometimes the tree just so happens to be in the backyard, therefore causing you to have to call out another company to come and cut the tree down. So my suggestion was, why can't the village cut down the tree that's on the property in the back, and that way we generate the income compared to them calling another company to do so.
One thing I'm going to say is that we don't have the manpower to cut them out in front of the yard and or the equipment. And another thing is that when we go into someone's yard, we expose ourselves to additional liability, whether we damage comment lines, damage their property, and it's just hard. It's hard to get in someone's yard with the type of equipment that we need to actually trim it. We don't have that specialty equipment.
Okay, well, I know that we're buying more equipment now, so that's why I added that on here. I'm just thinking of ways to generate more income into the village. I would like to see that happen in some type of way.
It puts us in a, the revenue we probably try to generate if we did something like that, I don't think it would equate to a profit. I think it would actually put us into some exposure, liability with if somebody falls and gets hurt on that person's property. If the tree falls the wrong way and goes through the roof of the garage, we're looking at a totally different.
But we deal with those things every day, meaning...
No, we don't.
Yes, we do. The reason why I'm giving you an example. There's a tree, for instance, on my block, and they have to cut it. It's hanging over someone's house. Same issue that you're speaking of.
Okay.
So if it falls on their house, we deal with that now.
No. To be quite frank with you, when we first of all, we haven't trimmed trees in probably 12 to 15 years. We just started trimming trees this year, and some of those, our guys aren't experienced tree cutters. They call them tree surgeons, as a matter of fact. They're not experienced with that. And the trees that we've trimmed that extended over someone's house, if there was a possibility of them getting hurt or a house getting damaged, we didn't trim it. Because they're really not, and we had an outside contractor come in and trim them because they had the special equipment and the expertise to trim those trees. So we don't even risk it. Even when they're trimming trees down, if they're too close to power lines, or there's a chance of somebody getting hurt doing it, or some extended damage, they don't trim it.
Okay. Well, those are just some ideas that I thought the board should know about.
You had a couple announcements. Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry. Was everybody done? Anybody else have any comments? The first announcement was a housing update. Thanks for all the inquiries over the last couple of days. We had a successful meeting Saturday, November 8, 2014. A lot of questions and concerns was answered as it relates to housing issues. Some residents asked if I would have another meeting because they received a lot of valuable information and would like us to address the following: public works and permits. Therefore, we are having another housing meeting Saturday, December 6, 2014 at 10 a.m. here at the Village Hall. Next, if you're in need of mortgage assistance, it's a mortgage assistance fair. Saturday, November 22nd, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m.
Say that again, I didn't hear the first part, sorry.
On which one?
The second announcement.
Mortgage assistant fair. Saturday, November 22nd, 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Appointments only, no walk-ins. It's in Ford Heights Community Center Organization, located at 943 East Lincoln Highway, Ford Heights. And the phone number is 708-758-2565. Again, that number is 708-758-2565.
What was the date of that thing? I heard 9 to 12 at the time.
Saturday, November 22nd. The last one, announcement was Chicago Housing Authority opens all 3 affordable housing wait lists for the first time. Easy-to-use website allows individuals to apply online for public housing, housing choice voucher, and property rental assistance. On Chicago, October 24, 2014, the Chicago Housing Authority announced the opening of the CHA waitlist lottery registration to allow residents to apply online for, again, public housing, housing choice voucher, and property rental assistance opportunities. The CHA waitlist lottery registration is open October 27th through November 24th. Again, those dates are October 27th through November 24th for the 3 types of housing opportunities. And you can go to their website, which is www.thechawaitlist.org. Again, that website is www.thechawaitlist.org. Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much, Trustee Henry. All right, Mr. Irvin, what's next?
Next item on the agenda is item D. I was approached by Chief Franklin and Deputy Chief Martinez regarding the purchasing, or in the process of purchasing the new police cars.
Right.
After they inventoried their fleet, they realized that they actually have 2 additional vehicles that need to be replaced. The funds are available within that bond, the 2014 Series A bond. We're just looking for permission to increase the number from 6 to 8. These are the standard vehicle police interceptor cars.
How many police vehicles do we have now, Chief?
We have a total of 22, but a lot of them, well, a good number of them have to be switched out because
The
of high
average
mileage.
age of the equipment in the police department right now is in excess of 6 years old.
When I say yes, chief, you can have it.
Is there consensus here, so can we get a consensus on get 2 additional cars? Trustee Mendel?
How many cars?
2 more. 2 additional.
So it's a total of 8.
Yes.
So how much more is that?
$50,000, 25, approximately 25.
Approximately 26,000 would cover it.
And where the money coming from?
It's coming from the Series A bond of $1.4 million.
Thank you.
Trustee Mendel?
Aye.
What was that?
Aye.
Okay. Trustee Pierce?
Aye.
Yes, I'm sorry, yes.
Trustee Young?
Aye. You guys.
Trustee Brown?
Yes.
Trustee Henry?
Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you,
We'll
sir.
have 30.
Next item on the agenda is being brought forward by Deputy Chief Martinez. It's regarding the lack of a truancy ordinance, for lack of better words.
Yes,
Mr. Martinez?
yes.
Yes, I have a problem.
Cigarette break?
Deputy Chief?
Yes.
Right now, we do not have a truancy ordinance, is that correct?
We do not have a truancy ordinance at this time, and I'm requesting, and I've used an ordinance that South Holland is presently using, and I'd like to amend, have this presented in front of the board for your approval.
Okay. Great. There's some bullet points there. Who's on the, are there levels of offenses there in regards to truancy? Who's responsible for preparing?
That is correct.
Okay.
And it's, we're opening it up from, just like the ordinance at South Holland, from 100, not to exceed 750, which it's very high, obviously.
First offense is what?
$100.
Is the ticket issued to the student or the parent?
The parent,
And then what's the next level?
$200 and up to not to exceed 750.
Okay, after it gets to the 750, is a decision made to suspend the student, or does this work in regards to the, in relationship to the school, or is just the...
It is, and it's actually, there's a student point system as well. After a certain amount of points, the school can expel and or ask the student or the parent to go to an alternative school.
Okay. Okay.
Assistant Chief Martinez, I'm looking at G on the back of the page. You said $100. It says and $750 for a first offense, and between $200 to $1,000 for a second. offense when they're in
And
sequence?
up to, so we don't make that determination, that would be up to the judge when they go up in court. We never put the dollar amount up to the exceeding dollar amount, that would be up to the adjudicatory court, hearing officer.
Are these tickets wrote through the state court, 6th district?
No, they would be in our municipal court, those funds will be going to our funds.